next-level casino promotions, and everything under one roof on historic Main Street, plan your getaway at tinlizzy.com, where your getaway goes to the next level.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
What makes a credit union different from a bank? At Highmark Credit Union, it starts with you. We're member-owned, not shareholder-driven. That means our earnings go back to you through better rates, lower fees, and personal service. Unlike big banks, we put people first. You're not just an account number, you're part of a community. Highmark Credit Union. Local, personal, and here for you. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
In the NBA, The Athletic reports that the Cleveland Cavaliers do plan to retain Kenny Atkinson as head coach and are not expected to make major changes to the front office or coaching staff. In college football, the NCAA denied Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby's petition to be reinstated for the 2026 season. Sorsby was declared ineligible last week because of his involvement in gambling. Texas Tech will appeal. In Major League Baseball, former Atlanta Braves slugger Bob Horner has passed away at the age of 68. Horner hit 218 career home runs, including 4 in a single game in 1986 against the Montreal Expos. NFL former Miami Dolphins star defensive lineman Manny Fernandez has passed away at the age of 79. He anchored their famous no-name defense to back-to-back Super Bowl championships, including their perfect season in '72. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. The Nate Brown Show's ready to go. Glad you're here. Hope you had a great weekend, a wonderful Memorial Day. Appreciate and respect all that Memorial Day means for us. So I hope you relaxed, had some time with friends, family. Hope you had a nice long weekend. The Nate Brown Show back on Fox Sports Radio across the state. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, and glad to be back. Let's get rolling tonight. It is always a great day in South Dakota. We know that, and we are streaming on X right now. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Find us on X. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. If you get out of radio range, bring us up on YouTube as well. The channel's there, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, watch us live at The Nate Brown Show and Midwest Sports Plus. I checked it out over the weekend, watching some high school baseball. Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app, carries The Nate Brown Show. If you have the app on Midwest Sports Plus, you've got South Dakota Sports Talk Show as well. We are on Fox Sports Radio. I appreciate our affiliates, great stations, KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. And here on Fox Sports Rapid City. What do we got cooking on this Tuesday? Some good stuff across the board. High school, college, football, baseball. We got you covered. Let's get into it. South Dakota State baseball took the weekend by storm. The win in the Summit League. They got through Oral Roberts, the Jacks baseball program, into the NCAA tournament. Second time in history. First time since Oral Roberts has been in the Summit League. Oral Roberts Roberts has kind of owned that thing. So Rob Bishop's the head coach at South Dakota State. He'll be live tonight. Coming up from Brookings, we'll talk to Coach Bishop. They've got Nebraska, 13-seed Nebraska, Friday afternoon. Huskers beat the Jacks in March, if you watch this, 5-4. So, hey, look out. South Dakota State on a heater right now. We'll talk to Rob Bishop, South Dakota State head baseball coach, his program. He's been there and building. They've always been solid, right? Jacks baseball, solid, but tough to get through Oral Roberts. They get through on a season that didn't go their way all the time. That's for sure. We'll get him coming up. John Bryce is in tonight, national college football writer from the SEC meetings in Florida. John Bryce live, usatoday.com. SEC meetings are interesting, to say the least. A lot of coaches saying a lot of stuff today. We'll break it all down on the college football side. John's in. Sam Herder's on tap tonight, FCS senior analyst. He just put out his preview of South Dakota State football today. So I want to get him on tonight. Sam Herder is in, FCS senior analyst for Hero Sports. And finally, Chris Danker, NBA basketball scout, pro scout, NCAA Division I coach, AAU director. Chris Danker live from California talking hoops. Net Scouts basketball, great basketball guy. Chris Danker on tap. If you want in tonight, we'll do our best to get you on. 605-720-1067. Join us. 605-720-1067. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Our great partners in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. The best buffet in town by far. Take the family to the Pizza Ranch. Locally owned and operated in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Hit us on the text line as well. 605-720-1067. Get ready on the text line for the question of the day. It's a doozy. It's a dandy today. I want your feedback. We got to have it today, okay? 605-720-1067. That is the Barron's Wilson Lister text line for you. So why do I want your feedback right away? Because I'm having like a midlife crisis. I'm having, it's not too much information on a Tuesday. It was a good weekend. It was a slow weekend. I mean, I did some good stuff. This week, I'm having a midlife crisis from a sports standpoint, and I'm going to admit some things tonight. Now, I don't know if this is a crisis or if you will agree with me that maybe you can adjust. Maybe you can just change in life. As you get older, you get wiser. Is that what we say? You get older, you get wiser. We learn. You have a family. You learn a bunch of stuff there and all that stuff, all the experiences. So what's my midlife crisis in sports? I'm not even to midlife. I'm still a young guy. Would you tell me that? Could you tell me that once? My crisis is this. So here's what I enjoy watching. I'm a basketball fan. You guys that listen to the show regularly know that. So I'm a basketball fan. I watch a ton of the NBA playoffs. I'm a big enough basketball fan that I watch NBA regular season. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm in on the regular season every night, and I'm a gambling guy. I got to bet on these games. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. But I will check out games a lot because my entertainment consists of when I get home after kids do this practice or this or that. It's either news or sports. Like I'm not streaming shows, like very rarely, unless I get hooked to it and I'm finally in. But it's news, sports on a weeknight for me. And a lot of times that's, you go in the winter, you're watching sports. That's me. So I'm watching Spurs, loved watching them. I'm watching Wolves. I'm watching Nuggets, Lakers, some of the stuff that's on later, some of the West Coast stuff. So my point in telling you this, I watch NBA basketball regular season. So stay with me, regular season. I really get plugged in NBA playoffs. And some of you that listen, casual NBA fans or not huge fans at all, like most of the guys I talk to, they say, I don't pay attention to the NBA until the playoffs now because that's when they play hard. How many times have you heard that? Or maybe you've said that, and I've said, I understand. Does the intensity pick up in the playoffs? It does. So, I mean, basketball fans like me, I can admit that. I mean, these guys half the time are going through the motions in the regular season. It's a grinder. They 82 games, and you never know if they need to win. Do they not? People are sitting out now. That's a bad look. So there are problems with that regular season model. So there is some validity to the guys that say today, well, the NBA doesn't start, they don't start playing hard till the playoffs. I understand. I wouldn't say they don't start playing hard, but they play really hard in the NBA playoffs. And now that you've got Eastern Conference Finals in the books, Knicks win last night. They sweep the Cavaliers. They just dominated. My eyes have been on the Spurs OKC for quite some time. I watched Spurs Wolves, thought that was really, really good. So here's what my crisis is tonight. And I'm serious about this, and I need you guys to sound off on this. So you got Game 5 tonight, Spurs OKC. It's been a really good series. And so I need the guys that have been watching some of the playoffs. If you have watched the Spurs, maybe you watch the Wolves Spurs, if you're a Wolves fan, you have to understand how intense it is, how fast they play, the physicality, the intensity, the pace of play. And I can sit here and say it's 2026, and I think most of my older guys in the audience tonight are going to say, these guys couldn't hold a candle to the Lakers and the Celtics and whoever. I'm a Bulls guy, so give me my history. I'm a Bulls guy, a Jordan guy, will be forever. I thought that was the heyday of the NBA, the 6 championships, three-peat. Nobody could touch the Bulls, right? Well, here's my crisis today, and I'm gonna fill you in on this. There's Game 5 tonight, Spurs OKC, and I've really enjoyed this series. It's been outstanding. I'm going to be watching this every play tonight. There's a guy on Twitter who just posted the first 4 minutes of the 1998 Bulls Jazz NBA Finals Game 6. Okay? Walk with me on this, because it's gonna be a full circle moment on the Nate Brown Show tonight. So I was interested in this. It just popped up over the weekend. I'm like, wait, I think that was yesterday maybe. Popped up and it said, hey, watch these guys. Game 6, Bulls Jazz. You all know this game. 1998. The shot from Michael Jordan to win it. 6 championships, and they rode off into the sunset. That's the game, okay? Just to give you a setup. And I watched the first 4 minutes of that game. I watched it on my phone. I'm thinking they slowed this thing down. This couldn't be AI, is it? Did they slow the game? It just started. There was an opening tip, and the guys they don't guard each other. They sag 3 feet off of each other. I mean, I'm trying to compare 1998 basketball, which I saw through my lens as the best of the best. Nobody could touch it. And then I've watched OKC and the Spurs. They're killing each other. I mean, these guys are going hard to the rack. They are absolutely all over each other. And the intensity and the pace of play and the speed and the athleticism is just off the charts, guys. I'm telling you. And so I come into the office today, and I said, I've got to do this. I've got to make this the question of the day on the show. This is the NBA full circle moment. Is there any way I was that biased that I watched Jordan and the Bulls thinking that nobody could touch him? Thinking that was the best time of the NBA by far? I've always said that. I've always thought that. And if you compare the first 4 minutes of that NBA Finals game from 1998, which I've got right here, they posted it, and I put it out there. If you compare that 1998 game to just Game 4 the other night, Game 4 on Sunday, OKC San Antonio, just compare the 2 levels of play, and it doesn't look like 1998 is better. It looks like it's not only worse, but quite a bit worse. Defense, pressure, pace, space. I mean, it is just something to see. And I thought, there's absolutely no way this could be the case. Did I just miss this back in 1998? Or did I not have a sense for, hey, just the era was different, and basketball was different, a little bit slower. It was different. They got it inside and stuff like this. Do you understand that Stephon Castle for the San Antonio Spurs would absolutely destroy John Stockton? I mean, I hate to break everybody's bubble. I know middle-aged guys. Am I middle-aged yet? Midlife crisis sports guys like me. That Stefan Castle would destroy Jeff Hornacek. I mean, there was Jeff Hornacek was out there. And it's no wonder that Michael Jordan just tore these guys alive. It's no wonder that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen won those 6 titles. I'm looking at some of these teams. You understand Wembanyama would go up against like Robert Parrish of the great Celtics, Kevin McHale. You understand Wembanyama would absolutely destroy these guys. I'm a guy that hates to admit it. I don't want to admit it. That's why I said, what a wild Tuesday that I'm coming in here, where I actually have to realize, is all the stuff from the 80s and 90s, it was good. It was the heyday. We all said that's when the NBA was the best. And if you actually watch OKC and San Antonio, I think both of those teams blow out the Jazz and the Bulls. I mean, they don't touch them, guys. And it's amazing. I'm actually stunned when I watch that. I watch that video. I'm stunned. The lack of aggression, the lack of speed, the lack of defense. And if you watch Spurs OKC tonight, just watch it. If you haven't watched the NBA, just watch it and get back to me tomorrow. Okay? It's Game 5 tonight. I've watched every game, and it's off the charts. So let's go to the phone, see what you say. My point is, my heyday, who I thought nothing could touch it, I think I've come full circle. I don't want to admit it. But the players today, don't say it. The players today are better overall. I'm not telling you Jordan. I'm just telling you overall, I'll take the Spurs and OKC to beat the Jazz and the Bulls by a mile. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Thanks for taking my call. Hopefully my connection's not too bad here. I think I'm all right. But
yes, I got you.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to call in and just say, like, you know, I think it's hard to compare. Like, what do you think? Like, if some of the players from 1998, they would be different players nowadays. Like, one, because of training. Two, the game is different. I think, like, you know, players are bigger and, I mean, athletic because they're, you know, all of the advanced training and everything like that. It's totally changed athletes.
No, I do get that because people say, well, it's just the advancement that we've made. But I think that answers our question. Are they better athletes today? They are. They are.
And I think Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton, like if they grew up in this era, they would be different players. They might be more athletic or different. You know, there might be something different with them now because they were amazing athletes back then. I don't discount their athletic ability, but like with advanced training and stuff like that, I think they would be better players now too.
Okay, interesting. So you're not going to sell yet on 80s, 90s. You're not going to.
Well, I mean, I think like, you know, I mean, basketball's changed a ton. Like the spacing part of it is like the players are so big, like you wouldn't be able. I mean, it would be a melee inside if they played the way they did in the 90s. You know?
Yeah. Do me a favor. Watch Game 6, 1998. Just grab that clip. Watch that clip, opening tip, like for 4 minutes, and then watch tonight. It's wild.
You know who I think like one of the most overrated teams ever is the Bad Boys. Like, you know, I think like
sure,
you know, they wouldn't be able to play nowadays. I don't think.
No,
like,
right. Their style. Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for getting in. My question of the day is this. It's a midlife sports crisis. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Do we need to be honest with this? Are NBA players better than they were in the 70s, 80s, and 90s? We've never said that on this show. Well, they can make shots. They can make shots. That's what I always say. Yeah, it's three-pointers. They can make threes better. No. I just watched the 4 minutes of the Jazz and Bulls. That was Game 6. That was intense NBA final stuff. That was top tier. The guarding, the spacing, the player pace, the speed, the athleticism. I mean, Stefan Castle's going up for alley-oop dunks as a point guard. I mean, he tossed it up to Stephon Castle the other night for a dunk. I mean, Jeff Hornacek wasn't doing that. I mean, we just have to be honest with that. I mean, it's just it's a wild thing for me to look and say those were the heydays. And I will say the regular season back then was better. Jordan played every game. That matters to me. So I think that's a separate argument. But if you're just going to go, hey, now we're going hard right now to try and get to the NBA Finals, which teams, which players are better? I think the guys now are better. Well, I know they're better. And I hate to admit it. They're actually better than the Jazz and the Bulls from back in the day. And those guys were great. That was great. And now it's just crazy. And those are my arguments. I just put Stephon Castle against John Stockton. Stockton would be on skates. The guy would be in the hospital. I mean, he'd be in the hospital. So Wembanyama going up against, I don't know, Greg Ostertag? Sorry. That's what it is. You answer the question of the day, would you? Can you help me on my NBA full circle moment tonight? 605-720-1067. Can we admit players are better today in the NBA than 70s, 80s, and 90s? Can we admit it? 69% voting on Twitter. Yes, it's easy to see. 31% no, you can't compare the eras. You just can't compare them. Listener reaction. Everyone's better today except for a Bo Jackson back in the day. Yeah. Well, Bo. We know Bo back in the day. Patrick checks in. They're not better athletes today. They would be so much more physically developed with today's training and technology. So, yeah, that's the argument. It's like, well, if we had what we had back then, the Greg Ostertag would be way better. Jeff Hornacek would be catching lobs for dunks. Not quite. I mean, it's just not close, guys. Watch Game 5. Lister text, hand checking in the 90s slowed everything down, but this wide spacing has transformed the game now completely. Yeah. No, I understand, but I'm not talking about just the threes and just all that stuff. Just watch how they guard each other tonight. And then watch how the Jazz and the Bulls guarded each other in the NBA Finals in that clip that I saw. It just like lit me up. I'm like, this is really how they play. I honestly thought the video was slowed down or changed up. It was. I mean, Jordan just stands there with the ball and nobody's guarding him for 2 seconds. And he's trying to throw it inside. Nobody's guarding him. It's crazy. We always thought it was better. They played better defense back then. Game 5 tonight's going to be a dandy. OKC Spurs. It's not much better than that. I really believe that now. Coming right back, Sam Herder's on. FCS senior analyst for Hero Sports. He put out his South Dakota State football preview. So what do we think of the Jacks? He's got his preview out for the upcoming football season. Lister text coming in. Nate, sounds like you're finally getting with the times. Let's just be careful. Let's be careful. Don't add to my midlife sports crisis. Sam Herder coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Ready to turn your backyard into the ultimate summer retreat? The Memorial Day sale is happening now at Splash City. Whether you want the relaxation of a hot tub, the fitness of a swim spa, or the detox of an infrared sauna, we have the world's leading brands, including Jacuzzi, American Whirlpool, and Sundance. Now through June 1st, get 0% financing for up to 60 months and up to $5,000 in factory rebates. Start your summer at the area's #1 summer fun spot, Splash City in Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Rapid City.
Get everything you need to take care of your lawn at Menards. Tired of all the bugs in your yard? Enjoy your outdoor space again with Ortho Bug Clear Granules. They kill ants, fleas, ticks, and other insects fast, controlling them for up to 6 months. Save big on Ortho Bug Clear Granules. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards. You'll find the best used cars and trucks at the place that sells the best new cars and trucks, and that's Denny Manholt Toyota. Shop over 300 used cars, trucks, and sport utilities available, including the area's best selection of used Toyotas. Buy select Toyota certified pre-owned with financing as low as 5.19% APR for up to 72 months, including RAV4s. See us at Denny Manholt Toyota or DennyManholtToyota.com. $16.19 per $1,000 finance regardless of down with qualified credit. Expires 6/1/26.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 61 tonight under partly cloudy skies, southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 88. Lows dip down to about 61 tomorrow night. Partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy Thursday with highs in the upper 80s. Slight chance for storms Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 87.
Shop the region's unmatched selection of beer, wine, and spirits at your Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. This month's specials include all Grey Goose Vodka 750s for $26.99. Or save $4 off handles of Jose Cuervo Gold and Silver Tequila, now only $34.99. Price is good at both Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Off Catron next to Walmart or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City. Plus, follow Mr. Liquor on Facebook for in-store events, allocated bourbon drops, and
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on. Hope you had a great long weekend. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back and ready the rest of the week. Chris Dankers coming up. So Chris Dankers, a former Division I college basketball coach. He's been to the tournament, Colorado State, Santa Clara. He's a pro basketball scout, so he's worked with Team USA, international basketball, and he has his own company now, AAU company, Net Scouts Basketball. Chris Dankers, an old school basketball guy, okay, like me. What does he say about today's NBA players compared to the 80s, 90s players, 70s, 80s, 90s? I'm going to get into that debate. 69% of you are saying they are better today, and I am now with you. I watched the video of Jordan and the Jazz from 1998, and then I compare it to OKC and San Antonio. It's not close, guys. It's not close. All right, Chris Daker, we'll get his thoughts coming up. Let's go college football. Previews are starting to come out from Sam Herder, and he decided to do the Jacks. FCS senior analyst for HeroSports.com. It is Sam Herder back on the Nate Brown Show. Sam, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Always good to be on. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate the time, and I want to get into a lot of stuff. Before I get to the Jacks and your preview at Hero Sports, I wanted to get your read on some of these numbers that came out from Extra Points. So I thought this was interesting. Budget numbers for football, and I saw it from you. It came from Extra Points for the fiscal year 2025. And let's just look at it. South Dakota State had a $9.1 million football budget. According to the numbers, that ranks them fourth in the country in FCS. They're 3 spots ahead of North Dakota State. Well, I was a little surprised by that. What was your read?
Yeah, I think with these, no, I mean, anytime you're talking just straight numbers, there's always a bit more nuance beyond just the straight numbers. Whether it's even if you're talking statistically, just football stats wise, there's always a bit more color behind just the numbers. And I think it's the same thing with these budgets. And I don't have like the individual budgets and what all goes into the numbers, but it's a combination of, it could be scholarships, coach staff salaries, travel expenses, equipment, a recruiting budget, things like that, but also stadium and facility debt, as well goes into that. And I don't have the exact numbers on me, like I said, but South Dakota State, I believe, still has a little bit of stadium debt that they're paying off, and they put that into the football budget, and so I think that could be a part of why that number is a bit inflated for South Dakota State, because they are paying off that stadium still. So, are they straight up spending more than NDSU on football if you take out those stadium expenses? I would say probably not.
Okay, but in the big picture, I guess, and there is facilities and there's certain things like that, maybe that's why Montana State has $13 million budget. The Bobcats, who won the national title, they're number one in football budgets. I don't know, maybe that goes hand in hand, but like USD ranks 9th in the country, but in this number, they were only a little bit behind North Dakota State. I think a lot of people would look at that and say, the Yotes are close to NDSU and football money going around?
Yeah, I think USD has done a really good job of putting more money and resources into football. I believe in fiscal year 2024, the Yotes were around $4 million, $4 to $5 million, I want to say. So they, as far as the percentage increase, South Dakota is one of the biggest percentage increases as far as how they're funding football. So I know that has been kind of a point of emphasis for them to put more resources into their football program. So yeah, it's even at the FCS level, it's not obviously the same level as the Power Four, but you got to spend money, to win games, and so I think we're seeing the Yotes doing that. And a couple of other things too to mention, because some people might be surprised to see William and Mary, in the top 5, or Stony Brook in the top 10. I mentioned earlier that scholarships go into that as well. And so if you have a very expensive school like maybe William and Mary, tuition is high, which means your scholarship dollar is high as well. So that's just kind of another example as far as what all goes into these football budgets. And just because William and Mary is 2 spots ahead of North Dakota State for their football budget, like when it comes to actually spending on football outside of scholarships, that doesn't necessarily mean that William and Mary is putting more football or putting more money into their football program compared to teams like Montana or North Dakota State or South Dakota.
Okay, so one comparison I want to make from this budget stuff for football as I looked at it, and then we'll move on to the Jacks and that story you've got, the preview. North Dakota State's sitting at 7th in the country in FY25 for football budget, $8.3 million, whatever that number means. They're going to the FBS, the Mountain West. So I did a comparison. I said, let's look at the University of Wyoming. Wyoming, middle of the road, kind of bottom tier in the Mountain West last year. They had a football budget approximately $13 million. So NDSU's $5 million off that number. Can NDSU, do you believe, pay that bill and ramp that up? They want to probably get up to at least Wyoming's number.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about NDSU is they are, while they were in the FCS, they were the lowest subsidized team or program in the FCS, which means they took the least amount of money from student fees and the university and the state government. So a lot of NDSU's budget is all self-raised, whether it's through corporate sponsors or donations, ticket sales, merchandise sales, and all that. So with that said, I think NDSU is probably looking at least doubling their football budget, and they're going to have to do that through fan support, and they'll get maybe some money games in there as well to help out. But they're really going to need their fan base to step up and raise that money. And I believe somewhere in that agreements for NDSU to join the Mountain West, there's some language in there about how if there's a clause in there that requires them to at least hit the average number of football spend in the Mountain West. So it's already kind of contractually obligated for NDSU to beef up their spending. And you're right, if you just look at fiscal year 2025 budgets and you compare that to the rest of what is left of the Mountain West, UNLV is leading the pack at $21 million. The lowest would be Air Force at $12 million, and then you have NDSU at $8 million. Yeah. The average in the Mountain West, as far as the new look Mountain West, not the teams that have left for the Pac-12, the average is $14 million. So NDSU is behind right there, but I think they do have that donor base and the overall support to at least hit that $14 to $15 million range as far as their football budget, I would guess.
Yeah, people are talking about it in Fargo. Can NDSU pay this bill every year? Can they keep up and keep the dollars coming in at a high level in the FBS? Sam Herder's on tonight, FCS senior analyst for HeroSports.com. Find him on X. If you're not following him on Twitter, Sam Herder FCS, where you'll find his handle. So you just do the previews, and you have a preview out for South Dakota State football. What's people's takeaway from South Dakota State? It looks like there's a lot of guys back. Dan Jackson's second year. This should be a good start, and the schedule's not that difficult.
Yeah, I think, if anyone is questioning whether, with some of the recent moves up to the FBS, if anyone's questioning whether the passion is still there for South Dakota State fans when it comes to the FCS, to me it seems like Jackrabbit fans are as excited about this upcoming season as any other one, in the past, just because there is, on one hand, a certain level of intrigue of what exactly this squad is going to look like, but also I think there is kind of that, hunger factor as well to show that last year was kind of just a fluky year and, for South Dakota State to bounce back. So I really sense some, a lot of juice, coming out of the South Dakota State football program and the fan base about what this team could accomplish, because when they were at their best last year and fully healthy, they were 7-0, number 2 in the country, and then, they suffered some key injuries, Chase Mason, Lofton Ogrowski are the two main ones, but, even, Chase Van Tol, he missed some time, and early on in the year as well, Reese Kirschman, the defensive end, who I think is going to be really good, he suffered a season-ending injury, and, they kind of went on a tailspin a little bit with that 4-game losing streak. Became a team that was really on the playoff bubble before getting into the bracket and winning the game. And so it was really kind of an up and down year for South Dakota State. When they were at their best, they were really good. They beat the eventual national champs, Montana State, in Bozeman, but I also think they maybe hit a low point as well when they lost to Indiana State. So the highs were very high and the lows were very low as far as on the field results. And like you said, they bring back a lot of talent. They also, I think, really improve their depth by bringing in some notable guys who have a lot of playing experience at the sub D1 level. So I do think they have the talent there. Depth was certainly an issue last season. It looks like they did a really good job of fixing that. And like you said as well, the schedule sets up decently well where it's, I think the Valley is going to be pretty deep with a lot of playoff contenders, but, South Dakota State, it's not the most daunting of schedules, especially in the non-conference against FCS opponents. So, yeah, I think the Jacks are primed for a good year, and you could really sense that their fan base is ready to get this thing kicked off.
I want to ask you about who is their biggest threat in the conference? Who's the biggest threat on this schedule?
Yeah, I think I think South Dakota State, maybe the game that I circled, sometimes you kind of just go to the road games and who they have on the road. They go to Illinois State, the defending national runner-up. Illinois State kind of has a mixed bag of some really key guys that have left, but also a lot of key guys that have returned. I think the Redbirds are going to be good on the offensive line, at running back, at wide receiver and linebacker as well. It's just the quarterback position for Illinois State is a really big question mark. But if they can get that answered, I think that's a really tough road game for South Dakota State. And they also go to Southern Illinois in the second to last week of the regular season. I think SIU is going to be in that playoff mix. So, the Valley, to me, I still think is going to be very deep. I could see 6 teams still, even with NDSU moving on. I can still see 6 teams from the Valley at least being in playoff contention. That's North Dakota, South Dakota State. Then I think Youngstown State, Illinois State, and Southern Illinois are going to be really good as well. So the Valley schedule is certainly going to be tough for South Dakota State, but they get a decent amount of those games on the road. They have to go to UND as well, so that'll be a tough one for the Jacks as well.
Sam Herder in tonight, FCS senior analyst, HeroSports.com. A real quick one. Do you think Chase Mason is a player of the year talent level?
Yeah, I think talent level, certainly. The problem, if we're talking about player of the year, Mr. Bo Brungard is coming back, the Walter Payton Award winner, who's going to put up just ridiculous numbers. I think from a physical, just pure quarterback standpoint, I think Chase Mason is better than Bo Brungard when you just talk about the overall arm strength and athleticism and all of that. But Bo Brungard, from just an FCS quarterback perspective and the numbers he puts up, I think Brungard has a really good chance to go back-to-back for the Walter Payton Award. I think Chase Mason is certainly good enough to be in that conversation. It's just, he's going up against a guy who just puts up crazy numbers. But that could be a pretty good race right there to see who wins Player of the Year.
Brungard, great year last year, no doubt. Sam Herder in tonight. His preview of the Jacks football season is out. HeroSports.com. Sam, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you as always.
Appreciate it. Sam Herder on the Nate Brown Show tonight. We have exciting news. We'll be carrying Sam Herder's new show this football season, the Mondak Football Show. Mondak Football Show. He's going to be focusing on Dakota schools and Montana schools, basically the dominant teams in the FCS. More on that coming up. Mondak Football Show. Glad to have it on my station. Sam Herder in tonight. John Bryce is in from the SEC meetings. Man, everybody's saying something in the SEC today about the college football scenario, the playoff scenario. John Bryce coming up next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds to share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0, zip, zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's May 2028. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with 0 regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
News. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're back on this Tuesday. Hope you had a great day today. We're back at it after the long weekend, the unofficial start to summer. It's always a great day in South Dakota. A little warming up. Heads up, man. Rob Bishop's coming up, South Dakota State head baseball coach. The Jackrabbits get to the NCAA tournament, second time in program history. They get through Oral Roberts for the first time. As a matter of fact, they've never beat him in the Summit League tourney. So South Dakota State goes on an improbable run. They win it. They're going to face Nebraska Friday. The NCAA Regional coming up. Rob Bishop, head coach for the Jacks baseball program. He's on the way. John Bryce is in tonight. Want to talk SEC meetings underway in Florida. USAtoday.com, national college football writer. John, welcome in. How are you?
Good to visit, Nate. I appreciate that, and love this time of year in college baseball. It's a great sport. The talent there is really good. Exciting time for South Dakota State.
How about that? South Dakota State playing Nebraska. That's a good one coming up Friday in the tourney. So let's get into some SEC stuff. I want you to read on a bunch of topics. I mean, there's everybody saying something. I mean, the coaches did their media today. Everybody had a different opinion all over the map. So let's start with Mike Elko, Texas A&M. He said if we don't do something with regulation in this market, NIL market, we're 2.5 years away from having NIL budgets for the teams bigger than the TV revenue that's coming in. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, if it's 2.5 years away, to just be candid with you. The way that player salaries are going and how it's moving right now, it's absolutely insane. So I don't know that it's 2.5 years away.
Okay. So he's saying we got to do something. Well, here's the thing, though. People say we got to do something, but nobody really wants to do anything. Where's the SEC at on regulating NIL? Because nobody's listening to the CSC. Nobody's really following or wanting to follow the rules. So what's the SEC really standing here? They've got money. What do they want?
They want to establish their own rules if there's not going to be uniform rules, with the belief that if they establish their own rules, they're still going to have the most money to spend or top-end money to spend on rosters, but they can do some more to police roster plundering, so to speak, to police intra-conference transfers and things of that nature. So the SEC is saber-rattling, so to speak, because it's frustrated with how things have gone. It's dipped a bit behind the Big Ten on the national scale. You can't deny that, with 3 consecutive Big Ten titles by 3 different teams. And the SEC still fills the most stadiums. It still generates the most eyeballs on TV sets, even though the Big Ten has a better TV deal right now in terms of just money that is doled out. So the SEC believes that it can still exist on its own. If that happens, if the SEC further moved toward breaking apart on its own, it would add to it. It would probably go from 16 to 20 teams. I think I'm mentioned before, from my spring tour this spring with USA Today and visiting a number of different programs. I had a sitting head coach and an AD at a school tell me, yes, the ACC will be directly impacted if the SEC grows again. So this is stuff that's being talked about more in public, but it's been being talked about for at least the last 12 weeks or so, Nate.
Okay, so I saw this report that over half of the ADs in the SEC would go to the 2014 playoff. I saw that, like ADs are saying, yeah, we do 24. Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, is holding. He doesn't want to go to 24. Who's going to win this year?
I think ultimately, because it's not just the ADs, it's the presidents and the coaches. I think ultimately 24, the people I talk to that know a lot more than me that are in conversations I get to hear about, I never get to participate in, they tell me it will go to 24. Will it be 24 by 27 or will it be 24 by 28 or 29? That I don't know. But the certainty that it's going to 24 is there by the people that are in the marketplace.
Okay. John Bryce on tonight talking SEC meetings, college football national writer, usatoday.com. Find his work there. Hey, I saw Kirby Smart, Georgia, say, I wouldn't mind breaking away. And people took that and ran with it today. It's like, what does he mean break away? What do you think he means? I wouldn't mind breaking away and doing our own thing.
Yeah, I think he means a football-only SEC, which makes it much more complicated because Greg Sankey, while he's opposed playoff expansion to 24, he was vocal, if I'm not mistaken, very much so in his support of expanding men's and women's basketball to 76 teams apiece, which remains a much greater percentage of the participating teams than a 2014 playoff would reflect in FBS football. 2014 playoff is still not 20% of the division, whereas the 76 teams in the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments is more than 20% of the participant teams. So Kirby Smart's comments are like saying, hey, we're 16 strong. We could probably add 4 to it. He didn't say that. That's what I've been told. Add 4 to it. And they build themselves the second NFL. They would truly become the second NFL at that point. But then you're talking about they would, I think, have to make players employees. They would probably be school-adjacent programs at that point in time. It would change the dynamics of how they eat, sleep, work, and train on campuses, the facilities they use. Because once they become a private entity, then all those tax breaks and all those federal regulations and state regulations, they become entirely different.
John, you're a college football guy. I didn't get you on the record yet. Do you think 24 college football playoff is okay?
I'm a 16 proponent, so I would like to see it go to 16 for a couple of years. I think we needed 16 this past year. I don't think we needed 24 this past year. I think there was a big gap between 15 or 16 and 23 or 24. I don't think that was needed. I think 24, if you're getting rid of the conference championships, and look, I've mentioned on your radio show before, I'm a proponent of the conference championships. I like those. I'm also cognizant of the fact they've only been around in our lifetimes and later in our lifetimes, Nate. It's not something, I didn't grow up all through the 80s dialed into conference championship games every weekend because I couldn't wait. Like, that wasn't a thing. So as much as I like them, they're not part of what makes college football ultimately so special, and I think they would be replaced in short order by the expanded playoff to 24. The thing I do like about the 2014 playoff is that it's my understanding it would give many more teams a chance to host games on their campus, to host opening round games on their campus. And I do think that would be powerful for fans and powerful for the sport. And nothing about the sport right now is about the fans. So if you expand and give 12 teams a home playoff game every year, I think at least you're giving the fans something.
Is an 8-4 team out of the SEC into a college football playoff, is that going to be okay for fans, an 8-4 team?
I don't know that that it's automatic that an 8-4 gets in. I think it's easy to say that, and you're not the first, you won't be the last. I've had other people pose that to me. I don't think it's that automatic. I haven't studied it enough to know. Certainly, an 8-4 SEC team is going to lobby, because it's harder for the SEC, and I'm an SEC grad. But the way they talk about it now, it's like they have a harder time just putting their pads on because the SEC is so tough. And I think there's some SEC fatigue out there that they don't want to acknowledge. So I think it would be a case-by-case basis. I don't think we can blanket say an 8-4 SEC team would automatically be in any more than an 8-4 Big 12 team would automatically be out.
Hey, John, one more. NCAA has won so far, denying Texas Tech QB Brendan Sorsby's request to play. He wants to be eligible. They won today. He's going to appeal. I've said it. This feels like an NCAA thing, like their last stand. If they can enforce anything, it has to be this. Will Sorsby's attorneys keep this going?
Yeah, I was just writing on that this afternoon, so I appreciate you asking. We've got multiple stories up on usatoday.com right now, free coverage of the very latest, including Texas Tech president support of Brendan Sorsby. I don't think he can win. I don't think he can win regardless of his quote-unquote proactive approach to going into gambling rehab. His proactive approach, by the way, came after Texas Tech, and they were notified that they were investigating him for gambling violations. He didn't check into a clinic in January and start trying to treat his gambling addiction. He didn't check in until there was news that an investigation was coming, and it was coming full bore. I wrote this in the story. The NCAA is very unambiguous. You bet on another NCAA team, you're going to sit for at least a year. You bet on your own NCAA team, you're done forever. We saw it with Pete Rose. We've seen it with like 17 different, I think, college basketball players. Now, they manipulated games. They were found guilty of point shaving, but they were betting on their teams, and they never played college basketball again. I have a hard time seeing Brendan Sorsby ever playing college football again. I think far more likely is he goes the route of the NFL supplemental draft, and I do believe there will be a very strong market for him there.
USAtoday.com, the coverage is up. National college football writer John Bryce is in on the Nate Brown Show here in South Dakota. John, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Always, buddy. Thanks, man.
See ya. John Bryce, USAtoday.com, national college football writer, joining us from the SEC meetings. Good stuff, live from Florida. Find him on X at John D. Bryce 1. All right, a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff. So if you missed some of this stuff, some of the highlights I pulled from the coaches at the SEC meetings today, Mike Elko, Texas A&M, he said a lot of universities are going to go bankrupt pretty quick. What? Huh? He said we're 2.5 years away from having NIL budgets for the team. It's like Texas A&M. 2.5 years away from having an NIL budget that's bigger than all of the TV revenue we bring in. That's just for football. So you have to understand that even the big boys are looking at it going, we can't just keep on spending more and more and more. Eventually the business goes bankrupt. That's what he said today. So Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech QB. NCAA won that so far. They won it again. They've denied him eligibility for his admitted sports betting over the years, and his attorneys are appealing, so they're going to try. And the president of Texas Tech said, hey, we're going to do all sorts of stuff. He said we're going to actually block his phone of any sports betting apps, and we're going to monitor him and look at his phone and all that stuff. So they're like really trying to get him to play. And I think the NCAA, I said it last week, this is the last stand they can have. Like, this is the one thing. If they lose this, it's all over. I said that last week. If they lost this and a player bet on his own team and stuff like that and then was able to play again, oh, boy, it's over. So, NCAA, they got to win these, and they've won so far. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, I've got something here. So, the Huskers are playing the Jackson baseball Friday. There's a controversy out of Nebraska about this baseball regional, and I wonder what you think coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's May 2028. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with 0 regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in Western South Dakota. We appreciate you. Also East River, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Just getting going this week on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. 2 hours packed. Great guests coming up. Rob Bishop, South Dakota State head baseball coach on the way. Jackrabbit Baseball in the NCAA Regional. They're at the Lincoln Regional taking on the Huskers Friday. Did you get your tickets? Well, we got a little problem. Let's go to this. So we're going to talk to Rob Bishop coming up, South Dakota State head baseball coach. He'll be live from Brookings on the way. A great run for his program. First time the Jacks have gotten through Oral Roberts in the Summit League to get there. Second time making the NCAA Regional in program history. So Coach Bishop's on tap. He's been there a while, doing a good job for the Jacks. I'm talking about tickets because the Nebraska regional tickets went on sale this morning, and they're gone. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but follow me here. So this is what happened with the USD women a couple of weeks ago. So the USD women playing in the softball regional, they took on Nebraska, and I was hearing about these tickets just being off the charts expensive. You know, people couldn't get tickets because they sell out, and then the people that are getting them, some people that are getting access to the tickets are reselling them on the secondary market for huge dollars. So I gotta get into this. This isn't like the first time something like this has happened. I understand if you're a Vikings season ticket holder, you don't go to all the games. You can resell the tickets, StubHub, and make some money. Which, by the way, maybe that's a segment for another day. I'm not so sure that's good. But we love capitalism, right? I mean, if you're a Vikings season ticket holder, you can make a bunch of money. I'm not so sure. I mean, the StubHub thing and marking up the tickets, whatever. But I'm going to tell you this. Nebraska season ticket holders got access to this regional. The same thing for the softball a couple of weeks ago. And then some of the season ticket holders got their tickets, and they might have kept a couple for them. And then I don't know how many ever they got because they do it on a donor basis. So you get how many tickets based on how much money you've donated and stuff like that. So then they can resell some of their tickets at big dollars. So I'm just going to, I don't know if that's a good look, is you give the Nebraska donors first access, which you have to. I mean, I get it. I've been in the college athletics side of this, so I understand. You want to give your donors first access. You don't want to shut them out. But guess what? There's some people that have actually had tickets and gone to the games that then don't get access. Like if you're a Nebraska fan and you've been to baseball games here in March and stuff when it's cold, you want to be able to get your tickets, no doubt, right, for the regional? Well, what I'm being told by some of the Nebraska guys is they can't even get their tickets because some of the donors that get them, they put a bunch up on the secondary market and then they're too expensive. So what do you think of that? Nebraska's ticket holders getting access to the softball tickets and now the baseball regional for Friday. And Nebraska's going to play South Dakota State, by the way, in the NCAA regional coming up Friday. The tickets are already gone, and then the only way you can get them is on the secondary market now. Do you think what I mean by that, should there be a limit? Should there be a price limit on how much you can resell these for? I mean, this isn't the Vikings. This isn't the Broncos. This is an NCAA regional. You know, you're looking at it going, well, maybe we should give some of our fans even some better access than, all of the tickets. Boom, they're gone. And now, wait, here's a bunch up on the secondary market. It's only going to cost you this much. And I think some people think, well, if you're a fan, you want to go, you'll just pay that much. But ticket prices and everything are out of control today. And so Nebraska kind of just letting their people get tickets, sell them, resell them. I don't love that on the college side of this. Maybe I'm just too close to it. Oh, South Dakota State and Nebraska, and maybe you're thinking, yeah, it's the market. That's what it is. You can sell the tickets for what somebody will pay for it. I mean, this isn't the NBA Finals. This is a Nebraska regional. I think there should be more access for like Nebraska fans and Jacks fans, of course. But I'm going to check that out. I haven't checked it yet. I just saw they sold out quickly this morning. And I'm going to see how much it's going to cost. Maybe Matt Kearney will buy a ticket. And maybe we'll put Matt on there. See how expensive they are if you want to watch the Jacks and the Huskers. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, I've got this for you. Speaking of expensive, so the state baseball tournament's going on, right? Class B's, Class A's in the books, and Class B's going on. There's a study out saying that parents have been spending more money on baseball over the last 5 years. Baseball over the last 5 years for their kids. That news out today. I'm going to break it down coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Weekend meal rules, they're different. Lots of meats, messier bites, zero regrets. That's why you need Village Hearth. Freshly baked old-fashioned buns that hold up to jumbo hot dogs, juicy burgers, and bold ideas. From lazy lunches to neighborhood block parties, Village Hearth brings it all together. Whatever's on the grill, make the bun count. Village Hearth. Cookouts start here.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Take your Deadwood stay to the next level at Tin Lizzie Gaming Resort. Choose Hampton by Hilton or 4 Points by Sheridan, both just steps from the Main Street action. Then play in our 24/7 casino, bet every buzzer beater at the BetMGM Sportsbook, and taste your way through 6 unique dining options. With non-stop events, next-level casino promotions, and everything under one roof on historic Main Street, plan your getaway at tinlizzie.com, where your getaway goes to the next level.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See anytime.com, and as always at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're here. You're here. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show is on. Second hour, ready to go on Fox Sports Radio. KWSN Sioux Falls, thanks for being a part of the action. Fox Sports Rapid City, glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show featuring Rob Bishop coming up. South Dakota State head baseball coach. Big news for the Jacks as they get to the NCAA tournament for the second time in program history. Head coach Rob Bishop on. They'll take on the Huskers on Friday. Break out your checkbook if you want to. Anybody have checkbooks still? Yeah, we still do. That's one thing that hasn't gone totally away. Rob Bishop coming up. SDSU on the way to the NCAA Regional in Lincoln. Chris Denker's on tap tonight, talking hoops. One of the best basketball guys in the country, a former D1 college coach, pro basketball scout. Chris Denker knows basketball, and we're going to break down our question of the day with Chris. If you haven't answered the question of the day, I invite you in. You're just tuning in tonight. 605-720-1067. It's the big midlife sports crisis I'm facing today. You never thought it would happen. But I thought and have always believed basketball from the 80s and 90s was the heyday. That was my NBA. I'm a Bulls guy through and through, and nothing can touch the Bulls and how good they were and everything like this. And I saw one video, and I don't know if it's hyperbolic. I don't know if it's Hot Take Central today or if I'm overreacting to a midlife sports crisis, but I saw a video of the Bulls Jazz, Game 6, 1998. And the first 4 minutes of that game, that was an intense game. It doesn't even compare to the intensity of OKC and the Spurs, which I've watched every game. So Game 5 of the Spurs OKC tonight on NBC. If you haven't watched this series, guys, I'm telling you, if you're a basketball fan at all, this is unbelievable basketball. Speed, athleticism, physicality, shot making, defense. I mean, the intensity is off the charts. And so I've had this, I've been like, okay, do I have to admit finally today that basketball players are better? Today, in 2026, they're just better than my guys from my era. I hate to admit it. I have to admit it. So I'm asking you, question of the day. Do you admit that? Do we have to be honest with ourselves? Us guys of yesteryear, do we have to be honest with ourselves that basketball players, pro basketball players, are better today than 70s, 80s, 90s players? That's my question of the day. Where do we sit on the results of this? 68% voting on Twitter. Yes, they're better today. It's easy to see. So maybe there are younger guys out there trying to tell me that I'm the old man yelling at the clouds. Well, I'm finally getting up. I'm finally coming up with the times. 32% of you say it's hard to compare eras. Players from the 70s, 80s, and 90s were just as good. So 32% of us still hanging on, but I'm not anymore. I am not. I've watched this series, Spurs OKC, and I said there is no way John Stockton would be able to take on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Stephon Castle, you name it. I mean, we're talking John Stockton and Jeff Hornacek and some of these guys. They don't, I mean, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars from back in the day, really, really good players, but would they keep up with some of these guards and players? Wembanyama, what would he do to Robert Parrish? Greg Ostertag, remember the great Mark Eaton from the Utah Jazz? We're going deep now. I can't believe it, but that's my take, okay? That is my take. Your take on the text line is where I'd like to go here. Do you believe we have to admit players today are better? Old men like me getting a realization, summertime, and we're just thinking finally clearly. Listener text coming in, well, maybe the defense was better in the 90s NBA. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give this to you. And to me, defense in the NBA in the regular season was better in the 70s, 80s, 90s. For sure. But you heard that. Defense in the regular season was better. Defense in the postseason now is better. Just watch these guys. Just watch Stephon Castle tonight guard Shai. Watch Stephon Castle guard Shai. If you haven't watched this series, you're not really knowing what I'm talking about. So you got to watch the game, Spurs OKC. It is really unbelievably well done. I mean, it is really good. So, no, I do not think that 90s. That's what I mean. I watched this Bulls Jazz game, guys. This clip that was put out on social media over the weekend. They said, look at this 1998 Bulls Jazz NBA Finals Game 6 deciding game. In the first 4 minutes, nobody was guarding anybody. I mean, Jeff Hornacek was 3 feet off of Ron Harper. I mean, it was just crazy. And I didn't see it back then. I was like, well, basketball, different era, different time. Just watch. You know what I'm talking about. You will. Let's see. Lister text. Today's players may be more athletic and skilled, but there's no way the flop masters could handle the physicality of the 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, I will say this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's giving everybody a bad name. I mean, this guy is out of control. I just saw the stat. Shai Gilgeous, watch him tonight. He's fallen when he shoots. When he shoots, he falls. I've fallen and I can't get up. He's that guy. He should be in that commercial. When he shoots, he falls. He's fallen 22 times on shot attempts just in this series. They played 4 games. He takes a shot and he falls. He has fallen this weekend. He fell in that game more times than, who was it? James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson combined. Shai's fallen more times than those guys combined, and Wemby was in there. It's just crazy. So, no, there is some flopping going on. There is. One more on this. Let's see. Lister text, the global appeal of the game means more kids playing in all countries, so the talent pool now is larger than ever before. Every 6'10" guy can shoot the 3. Yeah, no, the game has changed for sure, but it's just not the shooting. I'm talking the intensity, the defense, the speed, the pace of play, the athleticism. Watch it tonight. You know what I'm talking about. And then find Bulls Jazz and watch the first 4 minutes of that 1998 game. It's not close, guys. I mean, I was on your side. I'm a Bulls guy. It's not close. Really quick here. Chris Denker's coming up. I'll break this down with him. He's an old school NBA guy. I'm curious to what his thoughts are, but he's a current coach and pro scout. So I want to get to Chris coming up from California. This is a story that came out today. I was sent this actually by a listener. They sent this over to me about the cost of youth sports. And these are a dime a dozen. I mean, there's all sorts of articles. Hey, youth sports is expensive. Well, no kidding. That's not news on the Nate Brown Show. But here's a number that I did pull out of this. Baseball has been now one of the most expensive sports for parents. Parents, do you concur? Parents listening to the program, do you concur? Here's the number out of this today. The average family's annual expenses for baseball has increased 70% over the last 5 years. How about that? 2021 to 2026. So listen again. Average family's annual expenses for baseball, the sport of baseball, increased by nearly 70% over the last 5 years. Baseball's gotten that expensive for parents. Equipment, travel, I guess it's added up. So baseball is one of the top sports that costs the most, and the numbers that came out of this report, average family number has gone up 70% in the last 5 years. I was just at Shields, our great sponsor, Shields. Love Shields. And there was a couple of people in there. It was a husband and wife, and they were having a discussion over whether they should buy a new bat. Let's just say the discussion was kind of interesting. It was a discussion, I will tell you that. A new bat. I mean, you got these bats now. You got everything. Everything's up. Everything's off the charts, but I thought that was something interesting. It's baseball season right now. You're hitting the summer, the Little League, the travel circuit, the Legion circuit. Baseball, one of the most expensive sports. It's gone up 70% for families in 5 years. That's wild. Back with Chris Denker talking hoops, Net Scouts basketball coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
The following radio ad is Good Fun Squad approved.
My name is Jenny, and I'm the lady at the South Dakota Lottery who writes out those big checks for our winners. It's a lot of fun, but we've had so many big winners lately, my hand is tired. There was a $600,000 winner, a $2 million winner, a $4 million winner. That's a lot of zeros, and not normal zeros, big check zeros, and the winning never stops. That's why I'm learning to write with both hands.
Good fun.
Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans, all as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
I am here with Weston and Tanisha Chapman from Black Hills Tire.
We're the neighborhood shop for the whole town because we will pick up and deliver anywhere in town. We will do whatever we can to help anybody.
It's important to us that somebody can say like, hey, my mom needs something. They need this and I know you'll take care of them. I think that means more to us than anything is when somebody will say like, I need somebody in my family taken care of and I know you guys will take care of them. And that's just because that's community to us.
If we all help each other out, we can create this community together.
Check us out at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 61. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 88. Lows dip down to about 61. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy Thursday with highs in the upper 80s. Slight chance for storms Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 86 degrees.
Since 1928, Connect Home Center has been proud to serve Rapid City and Spearfish with quality products and customer service that you can trust. In 2000, Connect joined the Mead Lumber family, and now they're taking the next step into their journey. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name from design to finish. Mead Lumber is here for you, as they've always been. MeadLumber.com.
Isn't it time for new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen? With mortgage interest rates where they are right now, so many people are renovating their own homes rather than moving. And there's never been a better time to invest in awesome new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. Renewal by Andersen's legendary windows have been the best you can get for decades, but many people don't know that Renewal by Andersen also has incredible new ensemble entry doors and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows, which are winning rave reviews from clients. Renewal by Andersen's windows, ensemble entry doors, and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows will make your home so much more energy efficient on cold winter nights or hot summer days. Those new windows and doors will make your home so much more quiet and secure. We hear that all the time. Please visit RBARapidCity.com to schedule a free consultation. Be sure to ask about our great offers and really attractive financing options right now. Renewal by Andersen Windows and Entry Doors. Isn't it time?
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're back on a Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Hope you had a great weekend. And everybody that you spent time with yesterday remembering Memorial Day and all the sacrifices made for us. And hey, make your life worth all the sacrifices. I will tell you that. I was thinking a lot about Memorial Day. Let's do some things right. Do some things well. A lot of people paid a price. I'll tell you that. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. Chris Denker is in tonight. Net Scouts basketball. Let's talk some hoops. Game 5 of one of the series. I've been loving this. Spurs OKC. I've been loving it. Chris, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. So I'm having a midlife sports crisis. I need your help, seriously. I always thought nothing can touch my heyday, 80s, 90s, NBA, Bulls, Jordan. Nothing can touch it. And now we got a social media phenomenon going on, and it's got my attention. I've been watching OKC Spurs, and I've thought the basketball has been excellent. The speed, the athleticism, the defense, the intensity. I think this series is really, really good. And then I watched the Bulls Jazz first 4 minutes of Game 6, 1998. I know it was different era, Chris, and that was your era too. You get it. But I think OKC and the Spurs both beat both of those teams. I've had this full circle moment. Am I just off?
I don't think I would go against the Bulls, and especially a Michael Jordan Bulls team. I don't know that I would ever go against them.
Explain, because I watched Wemby, I watched Stephon Castle. John Stockton couldn't guard Stephon Castle or Shai Gilgeous. He couldn't do it.
You know, it's funny. We were at a basketball tournament this weekend, and in between games, they had an old NBA playoff game on as well, kind of what you're referring to, and it was a Lakers-Nuggets game. And some of the characters that were in that game, it was amazing to see. And it was back when Kobe was still playing and all that. But what we noticed right away, a bunch of us sitting around watching, was how different they're playing. You know, there was only one guy behind the three-point line. There were double low posts.
Okay.
Pau Gasol was in there, Lamar Odom. I mean, and big physical guys. And now it's become more of a finesse perimeter game. Now, I will say that series that you're referring to, Spurs and Thunder, has been very physical, but it is a different game, and I think it's easy to look at some, especially with Wemby. He kind of transcends all that. He's just so different, and he's just so darn long, and then obviously has skill and talent as well. It would make for an interesting game, that's for sure.
Okay, so you're not. I mean, that's good. Bring me back to reality. That's okay. Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. Spurs OKC has been really good to me. Who do you think's better right now? Who do you think's better in the series, has the advantage?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One is more of an emotional response from me, and the other is kind of logical in that the Thunder now, interestingly, they do have a lot of depth. They're a very good team, and they have a lot of depth, and they proved it last year. Jalen Williams out, and now A.J. Mitchell, who've been playing really well for them, out. Now they're going to go a little deeper into their bench, and so Caruso's been playing a ton of minutes anyway. It doesn't really matter who starts. McCain obviously can really score off the bench. I think Cason Wallace is probably the guy they come to. He starts, plays defense. He'll give you a few buckets here and there, and then they come off the bench with the other two guys. But I do think it impacts them, so I think it's going to be kind of an interesting thing to follow. The emotional part of it for me is I haven't enjoyed the Thunder at all. I don't like the foul baiting. I don't like the way Holmgren and Hartenstein have been playing Wemby and the underhooks, and there's been some borderline dirty play from those guys as well as Dort. I don't like what they've been doing. They complain about every foul. They flop all the time, and then they turn around and do kind of the cheap stuff on the defensive end. I just haven't enjoyed that about them at all, so I hate to say it. I'm kind of rooting against them just because I'm tired of watching it.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you about this analytic. There was a guy at Yahoo who just went through every game of SGA, so the Thunder over the weekend here and in this series. He's fallen on 22 shot attempts. That's the most of a player in the playoffs here. So he's fallen on 22 shot attempts just in this series. That's 4 games. And so there is something to this. I guess it's part of his game. Some people say, well, if you don't, Reggie Miller said, it's not SGA's fault. It's, you got to stop fouling him. Is Reggie Miller wrong?
He's dead wrong. I couldn't be more convinced how wrong he is. Just go look at some of and I think that number is probably not high enough. I'm wondering if that's shot attempts where he did not actually get a foul called. Because in the last games, there's a video floating around out there where he fell like 10 times. And it's just crazy the number of shots where he goes down and zero contact. And then there might be some light contact at times, but not enough to knock a guy who's as strong and agile and mobile and athletic and talented and all the, these are NBA athletes. These guys are no pushovers. You don't just blow on them and they fall down. And he's the MVP, right? I mean, he's got to be as athletic and have as good a balance as anybody out there. There's no way that he's fallen as many times as he does. And so, no, I don't agree with Reggie Miller at all. As a matter of fact, turn it on Reggie Miller. How many times did he fall when he got contested on all the jump shots that he took? I don't think very many. So I'm not going for that.
Do you think it impacts SGA's, legacy? Do you think it impacts his legacy?
It does for me. I don't know about other people, but I just don't think. Again, let's go back to what you brought up earlier. Did Michael Jordan do that when the bad boy Pistons and the Celtics and the Lakers and all these teams were coming at him, trying to win championships, trying to beat them? The Jazz, you mentioned, and how physical, those guys would play against them and really try to defend. And, was he falling down and flopping all the time? The Knicks, remember those series with the tough Pat Riley-led Knicks against Jordan and the Bulls? No. The answer is no. I mean, there might have been contact, and they all went to the ground because it was borderline bloodbath in some of those games. But no, I don't like it. I think it definitely tarnishes his image.
Chris Danker on tonight. Net Scouts Basketball, his company. We're talking Spurs, OKC. Game 5's coming up By the way, you do AAU, and you've been a part of this basketball culture a long time with young guys. Are you seeing young kids do flopping because of this or not?
You know, I haven't seen it much, and that's actually a really good question because they do get kind of swayed by, you know, the things that you see on TV and jacking up a lot of threes. That's definitely one thing you see. But, no, I haven't seen a ton of that. Fortunately, I think that's good. You know, so as a matter of fact, this weekend I saw kids stepping in and taking charges and making some kind of hustle plays and, you know, driving the ball to the basket aggressively and things like that. I didn't see a lot of that, so I'm glad I didn't, but I think that's a great question on your part.
Okay, so let's go to the other series. Knicks sweep the Cavs. So now everybody's going crazy. I know it's the Knicks in the NBA Finals for the first time in forever. So it's big. New York, number one market, the whole thing. It's big. They're saying Jalen Brunson is for sure like the real deal. I wonder if his road was rather easy. Does Jalen Brunson have a tough time with OKC or the Spurs?
Well, I think they'll be the underdog for sure, and there's been a lot made of that the West is better than the East, and I don't know that there's any argument to that. But I don't think there needs to be either because the Knicks have come through the East. They're the last one standing. I think when you get to this point, there's some pretty good teams. I don't think it's that lopsided when you get to the top end of it. And again, I don't know how you can look at any of these, whether it was an East team or a West team or whoever, that can go through the playoffs and dominate the series, whether it's sweep the series and or the blowout wins. I mean, the 20, the 30, the 40-point wins, it's just been crazy to watch. So I think you've got to tip your cap at them. And then, you know, I think Jalen Brunson, I think there's a number of things. Number one, there's been I think you've probably seen it too, a lot of media coverage and some stuff floating around today about all the guys who, a few years ago, whenever it was, that he went from Dallas to New York, and, this is ridiculous trade, this is a joke, he's never going to, you know, amount to much of anything, blah, blah, blah. And I think he's clearly proven those people wrong, and I think those naysayers need to come out and admit it. But then the other thing that I really like about Brunson is a couple of years ago when he got his contract, he went 4 years like 160, which is a great contract. But he passed up 112 or 113, as I recall, that he could have signed on the Supermax, and he passed it up so they could use it under the cap and go get other players. And that's something that a Tom Brady did. You know, that's a leader, that's a champion, that's an unselfish guy, and I love that. I love it for that team. I love it for just the message it sends young players and other, you know, let's not be greedy. I mean, he's making $40 million a year. I think he's doing just fine. But, you know, instead of, you know, I want more for me, he said, let's have a team. And it's been great for the city of New York. And I think it's good for the NBA. Clearly it's good for the TV and the media. And the league's got to be happy about New York being in the final. So I think, you know, there's a lot of reasons why, you know, you should like Jalen Brunson. And then he's done great. Their team's done really, really well. I like their team. I think they can win the finals no matter who they play. Okay. It doesn't mean it's automatic, but I think they can win it.
Last one, I'll let Chris Denker run. What's your message to the Wolves fans that see Karl Anthony Towns now with the Knicks playing well in an NBA Finals? Minnesota shipped him out, and people are like, man, that's another Minnesota L.
You know, isn't that funny, though, Nate? And you're right. But look at what we're just talking about with Brunson, too, and how many L's has Dallas had, you know, here recently with Doncic is gone and all the different, you know, you see coaches. I had a 4-hour drive yesterday, and I passed through Sacramento, and on Sports Talk Radio there, they were talking about how, you know, they used to have a coach named Mike Brown and fired him, you know, in his car on his way to the airport to go on a road trip, and now here he is leading that team to an NBA Finals. And so I guess the moral of my story is I think there's a lot more mistakes made, you know, than hits. I think people miss more than they hit. I think, you know, you just evaluate your guys, evaluate your talent or your coaches, whoever you've got, and let's ride with them a little bit here or see, you know, if in fact we're right instead of this quick fix, shit somebody out. It just seems like there's a lot of these that are misses, whether it's Cat or Brunson or, you know, whoever. You can probably evaluate a lot of drafts and a lot of trades that really went wrong for somebody.
Yeah, think about some of the Knicks. Brunson comes from the Mavericks. Even Mikal Bridges coming from the Suns. Yeah. So they've got, and Karl Anthony Towns from the Wolves. Chris Daker in tonight. He's got a role to practice. He's on from Net Scouts Basketball. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Chris Daker live from California. His company, Net Scouts Basketball, former D1 college head coach and pro basketball scout. He's running to practice right now, breaking down some hoops on the Nate Brown Show tonight from San Jose. Let's go to South Dakota State baseball. They've shocked everybody into the NCAA tournament for the first time since Oral Roberts has been in the league. They've never beaten them. Jacks get it done with head coach Rob Bishop. They're going to play the Huskers in the NCAA tourney Friday. Coach Bishop's live from Brookings coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's May 2028. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with 0 regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Rapid City to Sioux Falls. The Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. Your sports, your show. The Nate Brown Show is on across the state on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in, East River. Appreciate you being here. Also, West River, we got you on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, and stream us all the time on X at Nate Brown Show. Find us on X, Twitter, and follow us and watch us live on your phone at Nate Brown Show. A lot of attention for Jacks baseball, and rightfully so. They're in the NCAA tournament, the Lincoln Regional. Coming up, they're playing the Huskers on Friday. Head coach, South Dakota State, getting through the Summit League. Summit League win. Rob Bishop on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Coach, good to get you on. How are you?
Well, I'm great, Nate. We things have gotten a lot more busy here recently, but that's an uptown problem.
That is, man. I congratulations, and I'm sure you've been getting blown up. Everybody's sending messages to everybody. Oh, yeah, we want to talk to Coach at Jacks Baseball. Now we're in this thing. I got to do this. How have you been able to get through this year? Was it a perfect storm, a great stretch? How did this team do it this year after so many tough seasons where you're close but not able to get through the Oral Roberts of the world? How did it happen this year?
Well, I think, it starts with just like consistently putting our team in that tournament. We've been pretty consistently in the top four, and we played in the championship games a few times, and we were healthier at the end of the year, and honestly just playing our best baseball in that last 6 weeks. So we just came into that tournament, I think, with a lot of belief and feeling pretty good physically, and I got off to a good start and got a little momentum.
Okay, so you get over the top. Could you start telling, you were in good position here. Could you start telling, hey, this might happen, the guys believing?
Yeah, we won the first game, and obviously, you feel really good about that. But there's a lot of work to do, and we score some runs, and then we win a really tight one with Northern Colorado, 2-1, and earn a day off. And the day off means everything because everyone else that's playing is burning pitching, and you're resting and getting ready for a potential doubleheader, and it ended up being that way. After we lose the first game, the guys are obviously down, but this group has been resilient all year. In the winner-take-all championship game, they get 2 in the top of the first, and it had been really easy to say, oh, here we go again, and we answer with 2 solo home runs in the bottom of the first. And honestly, from that point, I thought our dugout thought we were going to win that game. So it was good fun.
Rob Bishop on tonight talking South Dakota State baseball with the Jacks head coach. They get through Oral Roberts, and that hasn't happened, Coach, and since they've been in the league. And now you get to the NCAA tourney, you face the Huskers. We'll get to that. But I want to ask you about, you've been at this program now. So you've recruited to Brookings, and you've built this program, making it competitive. How hard is it for a northern team to do that?
Well, I think there definitely are challenges. In the north, and it starts with population, right? We just don't, we're not near a major metro area, so our recruiting area has to be pretty large, and it's probably Rapid City to Wisconsin to Des Moines to Omaha, so it's that big circle. We've had just some great kids and great human beings come through the program, and so we've always been really solid from that point. And I think the real focus, and fans on the outside probably wouldn't understand this, but the real focus, knowing we're going to have to play our first 30 games every year on the road, is to schedule as tough a competition as we can in the preseason. And we're not scheduling with the idea that we're trying to win 40 games. We understand the Summit League is going to be a one-bid league, and our job is to prepare our team for that conference season and the back half of the season, just to make a good run. So, our early season, and you look at NDSU, you look at Omaha, you look at St. Thomas, all good teams. They all have to do it similarly. And so, you get beat up a little bit in the non-conference, and it's really easy to think, that league's not very good. But that is absolutely not the case. It's really good baseball, and the league was as good this year as it's been from top to bottom, and so I was just really happy that we could put ourselves in a good position down the stretch.
Coach, take people behind the scenes a little bit for baseball parents that are listening, baseball fans. The landscape has changed, man. I look at it over the past decade, I guess. There's travel baseball. There's these travel tournaments. And college coaches, they say, well, you got to get to those. You got to play in those. There's Legion baseball still in South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, that Nebraska that's pretty healthy Legion in this part of the country. And then there's high school baseball. You're like, okay, a lot of states take that serious. South Dakota, the scene's a little different. You got high school and Legion. And then there's the transfer portal. And so you're like, well, I got to probably bring in some guys that have experience. Man, it seems like the recruiting, that side of it, all those aspects has to be a lot different.
Oh, it's just wacky. I mean, it couldn't be any more different now than it was even 5 years ago. And, you know, this is going to be a contrarian view of it, but we really just have tried to stick with our original plan and honestly almost double down on it. Like, we want to go get high school guys that want to graduate with a degree from South Dakota State. And they, you know, those guys need to fit here for a lot of reasons, not just the baseball side. If I'm a parent and you know, I'm trying to help my son or daughter get recruited in baseball or softball or any other sport for that matter, I mean, I just think you really have to be clear about, you know, what are you looking for? And are you looking for a spot to land and graduate? And if that's what you're looking for, then when you're vetting those schools and coaches and programs, like, you need to hear that and see that with their roster management. You know, if a team has 15 transfer portal guys every year, like, that's a terrible place to go be a freshman, because you're not going to compete with a team full of 23-year-old guys. So we, the people don't know this unless they follow us closely. We have by far the youngest team this year in the Summit League. So, you know, it's the lion's share of our guys are guys that started here. And we didn't start a single senior in the championship game against Oral Roberts. So it's we're really young, and our freshmen are on the field. And again, I think that's we're the outlier in that right now. But I also think it's a recruiting advantage, because you know, who sends their kid to school hoping they go to 4 spots and find the best NIL deal every year? You know, I mean, you want to have an experience and get an education as well.
Rob Bishop on tonight. Good to have him. Jacks baseball is rolling to face Nebraska in the NCAA Regional. South Dakota State playing them on Friday. Coach, I'll let you run with that. You already played Nebraska in March. Lost 5-4. Does that have anything to do with Friday, that result?
You know, I mean, I think it's a yes and no question. I mean, obviously, on the midweeks in college baseball are so different, because everyone is throwing their younger guys or have a plan to throw 4, 5, 6 pitchers, you know, and if you have guys dinged up from a position standpoint, maybe that's when they're resting. But, you know, we played pretty much every year in the last 5 at Nebraska midweek, and so the yes part of that question, I don't think it has necessarily anything to do with the score, but our guys are comfortable with that environment. I mean, we know the field, the travel's easy, and a lot of our families will be able to come, and so it's not like we're, you know, flying to Mississippi State and having to experience that hostile environment that, you know, that we don't know anything about. So it's going to be a crazy night. I'm sure there's going to be 8,000 or 9,000 Husker fans there, and I guess we just look at that as what an awesome experience. You know, there's no pressure on us as the 4 seed coming into this, so we're going to enjoy the experience. But you know, we're also there to compete.
Huskers, Jacks baseball Friday. Head coach at South Dakota State wins the title. Only the second time in the NCAA tournament in program history. It's Rob Bishop on tonight. Coach, good to have you. Thanks a lot. We'll be watching Friday. Good luck.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Nate. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Good to have him. Rob Bishop, appreciate his time. He's doing a nice job. South Dakota State head baseball coach. The Jacks baseball program gets through Oral Roberts and into the NCAA tournament, playing in the regional for only the second time in program history, and they'll play Nebraska Friday down in Lincoln. Coming back with who's hot and who's not. Boy, we got a lot to hit there. Is it going to be a Indy 500 Matt Kearney special coming up?
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors? Call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Standing water or high humidity? Nasty odors or dangerous mold? Call Blackburn. Critters, bugs, or other pests? That's right, call Blackburn. It's a fact. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Call Blackburn Foundation Repair today.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
Doesn't matter where your ride's from. At Al's D&I, we baby them, every single one. Got a ride from across the pond? No worries. Let the ASE certified pros at Al's D&I pamper your pride and joy. Foreign or domestic, maintenance or repair. Doesn't matter if it requires special parts or tools or if its owner's manual is in another language. At Al's D&I, we don't care where your ride's from, but we do take great care to treat your ride like it is our own. Drive on in to Al's D&I, Sturgis Road, and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 61 tonight under partly cloudy skies, southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 88. Lows dip down to about 61 tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy Thursday with highs in the upper 80s, slight chance for storms Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 86 degrees.
It's pouring all summer long at Cadillac Jacks. It's the Make It Rain $125,000 downpour. Be here every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. till midnight for drawings every 30 minutes that start out at $300 and grow to $1,000 prize packages at 11, 11:30, and midnight. Then on Saturday, July 18th, 10 lucky winners will take home their share of $10,000 in cash and prizes at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort. How will your night play out?
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
If you haven't been to Trav's Outfitter yet, what are you waiting for? Trav's has the largest selection of footwear anywhere. Work, Western, and casual footwear, and we dare you to compare our selection to anyone. But here's the real difference. You don't have to sell yourself a pair of shoes. Our team helps you find the right fit for your feet. Find us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter. Best selection, best service, no BS.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. The best buffet in town by far. Stop by the Brandon location. Great Fun Zone Arcade. Also East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Find them there. The Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. In my Who's Hot category, let's do it. We might as well do it. Did you watch the Indy 500 Sunday? I did last hour. The last hour, give me a break. I'm not Matt Kearney. He was all in on this. I just followed his coverage if you want to. He's got it. Indy 500 came down to the closest finish ever. So I've tuned in now the last 2 years. Kearney's got me in on this. Indy 500, great finish, outstanding. Last lap was crazy, and the win was crazy. So if you didn't see it, check it. And by the way, Matt Kearney has went viral. I mean, he's in my Who's Hot. What is his video like on TikTok? He did the helmet cam. The finish, like 100-some thousand views of Matt Kearney's video. This guy's famous. So a little double dip with the Indy 500 Who's Hot. Best finish ever was excellent. And Kearney's best video ever, maybe? Close. That beats the South Dakota High School map or something. I don't know. We'll see. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, I got to pull this up. So the Cavs got beat 4-0 to the Knicks, but Kenny Atkinson, the head coach for the Cavs, said, according to the analytics, they won 2 of the games. Yeah, no, he said, we've won 2 of the games on the expected score on analytics. Coach, you didn't win any of the games. That's what these analytics dummies have done to us. We've actually won 2 of the games, he said. They lost all 4 games. The Knicks swept the Cavs. Hate to break it to the nerds upstairs. You lost. Thanks for playing. See you back here tomorrow. Podcast going up now.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good